What's up, everybody? We're out here today picking up the Mini. Gotta go put some new tracks on it. This is the culprit today. Also this. These tracks have been on here since we got the machine. They have at least 1,000 hours. Well, it's got 1,000 hours since we've owned it. Got a couple good little cuts in them, so finally died on us, so time to get some fresh ones. To the farm. The next question is, where do we work on this? Because it is probably close to 100 degrees out. Like, we're in the middle of South Carolina right now, and it's early July, so we need some shade, but we also need some room to work. Let's see what we can do. Well, I might have just burnt my finger. This truck has electric fans with a manual switch, and my switch just broke, and I reached up under there and the switch is like 200 degrees. My brother wired that up, so we'll look into that later. All right, goal for today, we got sprockets and tracks to replace on the excavator. Sprocket or tracks are over there, and we got the pressure washer here. So I think our best spot is right in this patch of shade. Should give us good afternoon shade for a couple hours. Should be close enough to reach the water hose over there with the pressure washer. This thing's been in some mud lately, just the past couple jobs, so we need to get it cleaned up. But really, I'd like to pull the tracks, pressure wash it, put everything back together all at once. And yep, that's the plan for now. So let's go collect all the things we need. Welcome to our shop. It is an old barn from, we're not really sure how old it is. It's roughly from probably the late 1800s. It's out on my parents' farm, or my family's farm. And this is kind of home base for our operations right now. Quick little tour. There's shit everywhere, but everything's in its place. And let's grab a few tools that we need to change out these sprockets. These. So I got that in the truck. These. Box collapsing. Yep, looks like a sprocket. And just so you know, I'm not kidding. This is in the shade under the shop. It's been in the shade all day. This is probably not something you see too often on YouTube land. 1980s John Deere. A Predator swap. Custom work, but we can go into that later. This was last year's project. Okay, I'm gonna take you through how I do this and how I've done it before. This may not be the way everyone changes tracks, so just a heads up. A bit of my background though is professional bike mechanic. Grew up down here on the farm. And I also worked on a trail crew building mountain bike trails all over the country. And I've had to do these tracks in some of the most remote places you would ever want to work. So, not always fun, but it's something you just got to know how to do if you're working on this kind of equipment. So this is one little trick I've learned over the years. You know, it may not work on every machine, but most machines it will work. So, boom, swing over. Get your machine in the right position. Get your bucket right there. Tilt that down. Maybe go out a little bit. You know, it takes a little bit of, each machine's a little different. Generally, get your bucket on the track there, and either with your curl or your boom down, you can use your bucket to push your roller back in. Again, this may not work on every machine. This may not be the recommended way to do it, but it's the way I've learned to do it, and it works. Now, if you get like binding, if it doesn't go in easy and you take more than like a finger on the joystick, you probably got something else going on. You could definitely damage your machine doing this, but if you take it easy, I've had no issues. We've done this on the side of a mountain to get tracks off. and back on. So, but just a little tip I've learned over the years. All right, another tip I've learned is when you swing your machine over, pick yourself up on one side, do not pick your machine super far off the ground. You want enough to get the track out from under there, but you got to remember, the higher you go with your machine, the more weight is hanging on the bottom track. So when that track starts sagging, that track is getting shorter. So if you keep it just barely off the ground, you get plenty of room to slip your track. Like, look at the gap there. That's way easier, but if you keep picking that machine up, that track is gonna catch that roller again, and then you're gonna have to fight it off of there and back on. All right, so no machine, no crazy equipment, just slowly work that track back and forth, slip it off by hand, and now we get the tractor to move it out the way. And then we need to do a little more cleanup, pull the sprocket off, swap that out, and then we'll throw the new track back on, be good to go. All right, let's go hide the evidence before my grandpa shows up, and I have to hear how I did this wrong, even though it'll be fixed and done, and he never even knew. Well, that was a bit uneventful. Quick little comparison of the old versus the new. This one is definitely worse than the other side. Somehow our sprockets got out of sync whenever we bought the machine. One was worn more than the other, so we've kind of been alternating. This is about the second or third sprocket we've put on this machine. Probably two on this side and one on the other side. And it's finally time for a fresh set of tracks due to the rip in the one we just took off. So let's get that changed out. All right, I got the first track on. I got the first freshy sprocket on. Thankfully, got my grandpa's little tractor here, and that makes a world of difference. I've had to do this with no assistance or with 2 people or 3 people, and it is terrible. But with the tractor, I managed to get it on by myself. A little bit of a fight. I'm on an iPhone trying to film this and work all by myself, so I didn't get any video of it, but I have a new camera on the way, so hopefully in future videos I will have better filming. But let's get this tightened up and go to the other side. All right, got one side done, tightened up. We are gonna move over here in the shade so that we got a little more time to work before we get back in the sun again. I mistimed this one and we are completely in the sun for this side. So let's recalculate our shade position. All right, got this side pressure washed, at least good enough to start. Pull this track off, and another little bath with the pressure washer with the track off, and change sprocket, and new track, and we'll be done for today. I'm gonna try to film a little more of this, but again, I'm working by myself with an iPhone camera, so I'm gonna do the best I can, and we'll go from there. Guaranteed to make a mess. All right, I'll do my best to show this again, but this is kind of the technique I've learned to use. You can tell me I'm wrong, but It's not wrong if it works, so whatever. Boom swing around. Get your boom lined up with that track. Drop this down. Drill that in. Pull that in. Go down. And then it should work on this machine. I've done this before. Let's go all the way up. Maybe it doesn't work on this side. Yeah. Nope. Huh. I swear I've done this on this machine before. Maybe not. Now, can we use a block? I think that's the plan. Alright, well, I thought I had missed that somehow, but that worked. Had to angle the blade all the way, pick it up, roll that corner, and voila, the blue turd. So now we got track slacked, we can slip that off and get it out of here and get the new one put on. Alright, I'm gonna do this real quick. Alright, a little before and after. Again, this sprocket is not worn quite as bad as the other side. Again, like I was saying, they got out of sync. I believe it's from the previous owner. They swapped one out. Somehow they're out of sync. So let's do another quick pressure wash. Get this last bit of junk out of here, and then we'll throw the new sprocket on and the new track on, and it'll be time to go drink a beer. Alrighty guys, thanks for sticking around if you made it this far. We got the new tracks on. Grandpa showed up for a few minutes and helped get the last track on. We'll call it help, maybe distracted a little bit. He's in his 80s and he just enjoys being out here, but I missed a little bit on the phone. So we're gonna go get all the tools cleaned up and finish this beer. So y'all have a good evening. Thanks for watching.